Hundreds of years in the future, Adam and Jake are flying to a planet called Antares. Supposedly a human colony settled down there 900 years ago, but they never contacted Earth again. Now they're mankind's last hope. There's only static on the comms, so the duo decides to land and investigate. As the spaceship comes closer to Antares, it starts shaking because of the planet's strange gravitational pull. All the navigation systems are shut down by the planet's radiation, so the men will have to pilot the ship manually. It starts losing altitude really quickly, so they activate the thrusters to fly right above the ground. It goes well for a few miles, but soon they hit a few rocky formations, and when they try to land, the spaceship unfortunately crashes. Thankfully, both men survive, although Jake's shoulder is severely wounded. The ship is completely destroyed, so they can't use it to go back. Adam helps Jake get out, and they discover they're surrounded by desert. There also are 2 moons in the sky. Using the emergency kit, Adam gives Jake an injection for the pain and removes the piece of metal from his shoulder. Jake points at a dog nearby, but Adam can't see it, so he blames it on the medicine. When Adam starts patching up Jake's wound, they suddenly hear barking. Adam goes to investigate, and after wandering around for a while, he finds a disheveled boy named Will with a dog and a knife in his hands. Will says the snake heads are behind him, but he runs away when Adam tries to help him. Will runs as fast as possible, but he's soon surrounded by the snake heads, who turn out to be female warriors. A terrified Will lets the dog go and gets ready to fight, but the warriors easily disarm him and knock him down to drag him away. Adam has been chasing Will, but by the time he arrives, only his knife is left. Suddenly an earthquake hits the area, but thankfully it doesn't last long. Using his bracelet, Adam checks on Jake to be sure he's fine, then he continues searching. He sees a temple and goes inside to find a large group of women chanting the word Sumuru. At that moment, Queen Sumuru comes in and High Priestess Taxon announces it's time to start the ritual for the Great Serpent Goddess. Suddenly a huge snake comes out of a pit, and after the women pray, they bring Will as the sacrifice. A guard named Dove yells when she sees him, revealing Will is her brother. She furiously runs towards the warriors surrounding him and starts fighting them, showing great skill with her lance. In just a few minutes, Dove brings down most of the soldiers, and she kicks the last one near the pit so the snake can eat her instead of Will. After the snake leaves, Taxon sends out more warriors to surround the siblings, accusing them of defiling the ritual. Sumuru stops her and reminds her of the law. Man kills so man can be killed, but not women. Dove killed another woman, but it was in self-defense, so she still has Sumuru's protection and the boy has her pardon. Taxon protests, but the argument is interrupted when Adam gets a message from Jake, giving away his presence. When Taxon orders her soldiers to capture him, Adam shoots at the ceiling to create a distraction and runs away. Dove uses the distraction to send Will running too, while Taxon makes her warriors chase Adam. Moments later, both Will and Adam return to the crash place, but before they can reunite with Jake, the soldiers catch up to them and open fire. Adam sends Will running to Jake while he fires back, causing an explosion that easily keeps the soldiers at bay. Jake brings Will into the ship while Adam keeps on shooting at the warriors, who manage to hit his leg with an arrow. Unable to fight anymore, he climbs into the ship and Will informs him the arrow is poisoned. The warriors surround the ship and get ready to enter, but at that moment Sumuru arrives with her own guards and orders them to stop. The first warriors remind her that they work for Taxon, but Sumuru points out she is the queen and her orders override Taxon's. After those soldiers leave, Sumuru enters the ship, removes the arrow from Adam's leg, and injects him with an antidote that makes him pass out. Afterward, she orders Dove and the guards to take the men as prisoners. Moments later, a healed Adam wakes up in Sumuru's home. The guards bring over Jake, who is feeling much better because the locals took care of his wound too. They discuss the situation and realize they've only seen women so far, which is strange. They also point out everyone speaks English, so they must be descendants from the original crew sent by Earth. While Will sneaks into the room, Jake tells Adam that he did some scans after the earthquake, learning this planet is going through some major tectonic changes. There are underground volcanoes, shifting magma flows, and even the magnetic fields are fluctuating, which cause their ship's system to fail. This means Antares only has 2 or 3 months left before it explodes. Then Adam uses his scanner on his arm and Jake's to make sure they're both healthy, mentioning a mysterious virus. Suddenly another earthquake hits the area and makes them fall. It doesn't last long, and when it's done, Will says it was caused by the sacred snake moving underground. He also asks about the scanner, so Adam uses it on the boy's arm too and confirms there's no virus here. They're interrupted by Dove, who announces Sumuru wants to see Adam. He's taken to the queen's room and he has to watch how she showers. When she's finished, Sumuru grabs Adam's gun and tests it on the ceiling. Pleased by the resulting explosion, Sumuru sends the guards out so she can chat with Adam privately. When he mentions Earth and the traveling colonists, Sumuru explains society in this planet started 914 years ago, which matches Adam's story. He then activates a hologram on his bracelet, which at first Sumuru thinks it's magic. For 50 years, the colonists that came to Antares kept sending messages to other human colonies, but they lost contact after humanity went through a series of wars. 200 years were needed to rebuild civilization, and by then they had forgotten about Antares. Sumuru wonders why they came now, and Adam says they're here to help since the planet is unstable. The queen explains they mine oil and gas and that may have caused all the trouble, but the locals turn to God for answers and Taxon has been feeding that idea with the rituals. Taxon had originally been raised as the future queen since her family produced 4 royals, but the queen is elected by the people and Sumuru won, so Taxon is still bitter. Adam informs Sumuru that they need to evacuate the planet before it's too late, but Sumuru points out his spaceship is destroyed and that men only bring the curse of darkness. When Adam asks about Antares' men, Sumuru takes him to the mines, unaware Will is following them. To Adam's shock, all the men are kept as slaves because they have muscles and the women rule because of their brains. An angry Adam protests as he grabs Sumuru's arm, but she stays calm as she explains men brought death in the past. She also points out the women still mate with the men simply to make more babies and proceeds to kiss Adam while Taxon watches from afar. When Adam says this isn't peace, it's slavery, Sumuru starts throwing punches at him. The first few land, but soon he starts dodging and eventually he captures Sumuru. Dove strikes him from behind to save her queen, who orders the soldiers to lock Adam and Jake up. Seeing all this, Taxon orders her warriors to kill Sumuru's guards and kidnap the duo. As Sumuru's guards are taking Adam through the tunnels, Taxon's warriors approach them from the shadows. At that moment, Will yells to warn the group about the ambush, but it's too late. Dove and the other guards are all quickly shot down with arrows. While Taxon's soldiers capture Adam, Will runs to his sister, who asks him to tell Sumuru what happened and then dies. Adam is taken to Taxon's room and she offers him to join forces against Sumuru. She shares that when the colonists arrived, God was angered by their terraforming and sent lightning that killed most of the men. Taxon believes in the god's magic and disapproves of Sumuru's interest in science since that's what caused the god's anger in the first place. She grabs Adam and starts getting affectionate, but he pushes her off when he notices a screen on the wall that Taxon calls a relic from the old times. Adam approaches the screen and is startled by a snake, so Taxon tells him it's one of her sacred children. However, Adam throws the snake on the ground anyway and steps on it to kill it. Taxon says she should punish him with death for that, but instead she starts kissing him. While she's distracted, Adam uses his bracelet to connect to the screen, but it isn't working well. Taxon thinks the bracelet is magic and demands to have it. When Adam says no, she takes out a knife and tries to attack him, but Adam quickly blocks her and disarms her. Then Taxon calls the guards and orders them to chain Adam. However, they remove their helmets and reveal to be Sumuru and Jake. Sumuru points out Taxon broke the law by killing women and punches her to knock her out. Afterward, Sumuru and the guys reunite with Will and the Queen's guards. Sumuru announces they'll be going to the burn zone, which Will is afraid of. Jake tells Adam that he's been investigating and he theorizes that the tragedy that killed the colonist men was probably radiation, meaning the command center has a very unstable power reactor. As the group takes the tunnels to travel safely, Sumuru explains the locals escaped from the burn zone centuries ago and a relic from the era passes from queen to queen. The guys look at the relic and see a picture of the colonist ship, which is still in the burn zone. Sumuru wants to take them there so they can leave the planet before they cause more trouble. While they continue to cross the tunnels, some of Taxon's warriors begin approaching, so the group runs to hide before they could be seen. If the warriors are moving, Taxon must have raised the alarm and all the exits will be guarded. However, Will is always sneaking around and knows of an alternate route. He takes the group there, but the hole is too small for the adults. They see another cavern nearby and Sumuru says they shouldn't go there, which makes the guys suspicious. Will tells them it's a prison, so Adam and Jake run to that room and discover a bunch of men kept in a cage in the ground. An argument ensues over men's rights, but Sumuru refuses to free the prisoners, so Will and Jake try to open the cage themselves. Sumuru threatens them with a crossbow, and while they argue again, they're found by Taxon's soldiers. A shootout begins and Sumuru begins bringing down the enemies one by one while Jake uses the chance to open the cage. More soldiers soon arrive, so Adam convinces Sumuru to give him his gun back and he fires into the tunnel to make a big explosion that defeats all enemies at the same time. Afterward, Adam tells the men they can leave the cage. Since they hesitate in fear, Sumuru tells them to leave too and the prisoners are finally free. Then the group takes the nearest exit and makes it to the surface. They can hear more warriors coming, so they start running toward the burn zone. As they cross the desert, Adam wonders why Sumuru let the men go. She explains the queen is always there for every birth and she's been feeling guilty about the fact male babies only have a minute of freedom before they become outcasts. Jake doesn't believe her feelings, so Adam privately tells her that Jake's parents were taken when he was a kid and he was sent to a labor camp. Meanwhile, Taxon's warriors find the prisoners running away. However, Taxon tells them to ignore them and go after Sumuru's group instead. The soldiers are scared to enter the burn zone but must follow orders. A few hours later, a new earthquake begins and causes the group to roll down the hill they were climbing. Thankfully, this one also ends soon and the team quickly recovers to keep going. Eventually, they find the skeleton of one of the original colonists and Jake scans in to confirm he was killed by radiation. At that moment, Taxon and her soldiers appear and open fire. Sumuru's group begins running and a chase ensues. Suddenly, another earthquake shakes the area, making everyone fall again. Will ends up buried under sand, but the adults quickly find him and help him out. Adam scans him to check he's okay, and when Will asks about the virus he overheard them mention earlier, Sumuru demands to know the truth. After Adam scans her too just in case, he explains Earth is already dead. A leftover virus from the gene wars was dormant for centuries, but eventually it became active again and it destroyed humanity's ability to procreate. Since there's no cure, the virus slowly destroyed all the colonies in the galaxy, meaning Adam and Jake are the only ones left. They came to Antares wishing to find a last hope. The group keeps going and finds an abandoned building. They can't open the front hatch, so Jake shoots it off and they get inside. At that moment, Taxon and her warriors arrive, but the women are afraid of crossing the barrier. Taxon kills a soldier with a shot to inspire them into obeying. Inside the building, the group wanders around until they find the quantum reactor. Jake manages to turn it on, but he'll need a few moments to run some tests and confirm it's stable enough. While he works with Will's help, Adam, Sumuru, and a guard keep searching and finally find the original spaceship. They get inside and Adam turns on the console. However, he confirms they'll need the reactor's power to take off. He asks Sumuru to come with them since the planet is dying soon, but she thinks it's her duty to go down with her people. When Jake is done fixing the reactor, he calls Adam to give him the news. He's also checked the records and confirms there was no holy judgment. The reactor blew up all those years ago because of structural weakness. Men got killed because they were working on it and the women at home saw the light from afar. Sumuru is upset to realize her culture's history is all a lie. Suddenly we'll hear someone moving in the shadows, but Jake doesn't believe him and sends power to the ship. Adam confirms everything is working well, but Jake is getting an alarm and worries the reactor may explode. Since the ship is charged 82% already, Adam tells him to shut the reactor down. Before Jake can do so, Taxon and her soldiers arrive and open fire, further damaging the reactor. Jake immediately ducks with Will and warns the others through the bracelet. When Taxon is about to shoot Jake, Sumuru appears and baits her into chasing her. The soldiers try to follow them too, but Adam appears and shoots some machinery to block their way. Then Sumuru and Taxon start fighting hand to hand, causing more damage to the structure in the process. As the women continue their fight with blades, Jake announces the reactor will blow up in 5 minutes, so Adam sends him and Will to the ship. The warriors try approaching again, but Adam stops them with another shot. Sumuru and Taxon are still fighting with no end in sight because their skills are matched. Adam tells them about the incoming explosion, inspiring Sumuru into finally overpowering Taxon. She disarms her and then throws her against the power box, electrocuting her. When the group is about to leave, Taxon reveals to be alive and tries to attack again, only to be shot down by Adam for good. The group runs away and manages to get in the ship just in time. They take off without trouble and fly back to the city, where all the locals watch them with awe. Sumuru feels bad about them and Adam comforts her with a kiss. The earthquakes are starting to get worse, meaning Jake miscalculated and the planet is ending soon. However, Adam makes him stop the ship anyway, saying that it's big enough to save everyone. Once the ship lands, Sumuru tells her people that they're going to the stars together. The men are still wary, so Sumuru throws away her whip and guides everyone inside. Suddenly, the giant snake bursts through the ground, triggering another earthquake. It starts hitting and biting the ship, which could cause enough damage to stop it from leaving. Seeing the snake's position on the cameras, Adam tells Jake to activate a specific thruster and the fire scares the snake. When it tries to escape, Jake makes the flame larger to burn it down. Afterward, the ship finally leaves the planet. While everyone gets comfortable for the long journey, a guard surprises Will with his dog. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.